Today I wanted to show you the magazine load assist button that we make for the Smith Wesson M&P 1522 magazines. If you ended up with a 10 round short magazine or one of the factory 25 round long magazines, then they come with this button that goes through the follower and allows you to pull down the follower and load your rounds a little bit easier, or use one of our tools, slide down as well, make that job just a little bit easier. But if you ended up with a long magazine that's 10 round limited, they put a couple pins in here that prevent that follower from holding any more than 10 rounds, and then they omitted that button, which makes it a lot harder to load your rounds in. So what we've got here is we've got a pin that goes right through the center of that hole, attaches on both sides, and gives you that same functionality you get with the factory magazine, and lets you load those magazines a little bit easier. So let's show you how to install that on Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. Alright, let's go over the materials you're going to need. Your magazine, obviously, your load assist button, a hammer. I like to use a socket or a piece of pipe that you can use to hammer on the retaining washer that's going to fit over the shaft on the load assist button. And then once we're done, we're going to have a little bit extra of this shaft sticking out over the top. So I use a heat gun. You can also use a lighter or propane torch to warm up this plastic and press it in. Your other alternative is to cut that and make sure that it fits inside your receiver. Alright, so take the button that you've got with the shaft, and you'll note that there's a thicker end. That one's going to go at the bottom, so we're going to put that right through. Make sure that slides freely. And then set down on something, good sturdy work surface, and you're going to take the retaining end, and you'll note that it's got a thicker end at one side. That one's going to go at the bottom as well. And then I just like to use my fingers to kind of get it set. And what you can do is you can take your either socket or a piece of pipe and set that right over the top, so that it's not going to interfere with the shaft coming through. And then just take a hammer and real lightly push that down, and you'll start to see, come up here, start to see that the button is attached and the shaft is starting to come through. Once you've hammered it down right on the table, you'll note that there's still a little bit of play in there, just because of the gap on both sides. So what I like to do is just take a little piece of wood or something that you can put down on that side, and then give just a couple final taps on there. Now it's secure, it's all the way through, still loose enough to slide. And then we can do is we can take our heat gun, heat this end up and squish it down, or you can put a couple dabs of super glue to retain it, and then grind this off with a cut-off wheel or saw. Now that we've got our button on the way we want it, we want to heat this end up with the heat gun, and then I'm going to take the hammer and I'm going to just push on that hot end there and squish it down almost like a rivet. So let's give that a shot. There we go. So we've got a nice ballooning out of the plastic. It's below the inside edge of that chamber. It still moves freely. So you've got a new button for your follower installed on Smith & Wesson M&P Model 1522. Hope you guys enjoy it, and hope it gets more rounds downrange for you with your rifle. Thanks a lot.